Hey, I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nik B.
And this is Dirty Roses Podcast, where two girls from the City of Roses discuss love, lust, and perception.
And we got two very different perspectives.
That's right, because my girl Nik B is a long-term habitual dater.
Oh, for real? That's what we're doing?
I mean, girl, it's facts.
Okay, you're right. And my girl Leigh LaRie was tied down and now newly single and don't know a thing about dating.
Dang, well, here we are taking our friends' dating stories
and having real life conversations.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now. Hey, I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nik B.
And welcome to Dirty Roses Podcast. We are so excited today because we are going to, I say that every episode, girl. I need to find a new word.
Every episode you're excited.
I'm hyper excited.
You should be.
I should be, right? Hey, okay. Well, look at our guest. Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful guest we got in the building. And Nik B, I'm going to let you introduce our wonderful guest today.
Yes, this is one of my childhood friends. I mean, as are you, but you know, we go way back. Love her dearly. Meet Miss LaShay. LaShay, say hi.
Hi, guys.
Hello. So today we're going to be talking about how, kind of like the singles and the healing process, we talked about how we can do bad all by ourselves. We don't need a man or a partner or a woman or whoever in your life to cause a toxic relationship so that you can do bad with a person. We can do bad by ourselves, but we really talked about how we healing and how we're going to be doing better actually, but we're going to play off that Taraji P. Henson real quick. So as you know, we start every episode with a scenario or a story. And so this one's kind of personal. You know, I'm recently divorced. So I, got divorced as of November of 2022 officially, but was separated since December of 2021. And I realized in that relationship, I was super unhappy. I wasn't living my life to the fullest. I was living for other people and sacrificing like my personal goals and well-being and all those things for another person. And it wasn't benefiting either of us. Right. And so while I probably would have stayed in that marriage to make it work and probably would have been miserable doing it, I'm happier now doing the things that I love as a single person, even though I'm sad that relationship ended, but I'm super happy in pursuing all the things that I want to pursue right now. And so in this, we're talking about what it looks like coming out of a relationship, coming out of a bad relationship, coming out of a good relationship or whatever. And what does that look like being single now? And how do you heal from that? So Nik B.
Yes.
Have you...
First of all, jerk.
I shouldn't be laughing at this, but I am. But have you come out of a long-term relationship or
really long-term? That's what we're
we're going to say any relationship. Have you come out of any relationship and felt like, damn, I really am doing better not being in that relationship? Or
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Even though I haven't necessarily come out of what society would deem long-term, 4 months.
Hey, that's long for some.
Oh my.
very true.
Okay. Absolutely. I've come out of the situation in the past where, I thought it was something I wanted to hang on to, and just more than happy that I dodged the bullet coming out of it and that I didn't waste a lot of time in that situation. And I can honestly say that even though, historically, I have not had any really long-term relationships. I think I'm quick to assess when something isn't right for me, and I make those moves quicker and sooner rather than later of trying to stay in something that just isn't working. A lot of times people talk about, oh, you have to work at a relationship, which you do.
Right.
Relationships do require work. But I also recognize that sometimes people aren't just meant to be in that type of relationship just because you meet them and you find them attractive and you have commonalities doesn't mean that's your lifelong person.
It shouldn't be
so
painful
I'm blessed
work.
that it should not be painful work.
Right.
I agree. So I've come out of those situations where I'm very happy looking back that no, I'm not with that person. And I'm better off without them.
Yeah.
So I've been there, done that.
Honestly, even though we joke about the not having a long-term relationship, it's probably a good thing because looking at my situation, I'm like, damn, that was 21 years of me not being happy that I could have been pursuing something that would have made me happy. Now, while I'm grateful for certain things that came of that relationship, like the kids and everything else, I do feel like I wasted a lot of time of my younger years, trying to make something work that really wasn't going to work. And while you have have
Mm-hmm.
the wisdom to know, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to spend my life trying to make something work that I know right now is not going to work. So that's I like that for you.
Yeah.
LaShay B.
Well, what about you,
Oh, LaShay. I just
LaShay?
don't want to call you LaShay.
Have
That's my old coworker. That is
LaShay.
hilarious. Oh, that's old radio coworker. Hey,
LaShay,
hey, girl. Hey, girl.
Hi.
have you come out of any relationship that you felt you really dodged a bullet or saved yourself
I
headache that you didn't
mean,
realize that you were in for?
absolutely. I was in a relationship for 8 years,
Mm.
and my earring just fell off. I was in a relationship for 8 years, and it was a good relationship, but also like a very toxic relationship. It was between 26 to like 30. What was that? Like 34.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, we ended up breaking up mostly from cheating. He had a baby
Oh, wow.
at the end of the relationship. Yeah. And I didn't want children, but that was not,
A reason to
it was with his
cheat.
ex. Yeah, no, it was his ex-girlfriend. He was a cheater, like, for the most part, but like he would always like be really like compassionate about it, be like, I'm sorry, da, da, da. And then I would just say okay, and then we would get back together. But the baby was like the end game for
That was the
me.
kicker. So,
Um,
question though,
that
then.
was a kicker. I mean, I should have left a long time before, but I feel like I learned so much from that relationship, like so much about myself.
So, question though. So, you mentioned that he cheated and that he had been cheating. Was that something that you knew about and that you were like, kind of like, okay, we're going to work through this each time, or you found out later that he
Yeah,
was?
no, no. I would find out because I'm a detective, and
Aren't we all?
and then I would find out, and then he would get caught, and then he'd be like, I'm not going to do it again. And then I'm not the type of person, like, if you tell me you're not going to do it again, I give you the benefit of the doubt. I loved him, so I was just like, okay.
Right.
Like, and then it happened again. And then the last time it happened was with the baby, and then he was like, it's never going to happen again. And like, we actually stayed together a year after the baby, and
Oh,
then something in me
wow.
just snapped. I like snapped, and I was like, yeah, I'm not
Was
staying
it
in this. I was
always
like, I don't need this shit.
was
But
it always
it took a long time.
was it always with the same person that he was having these affairs with?
Like a couple different girls. But
Okay.
this girl, she was his ex. So throughout the 8 years, she was constantly
Mm.
back and forth in the relationship. So yes. Um,
Was there ever like an evaluation of like what it was about this particular person that he kept going back to, that he was not he was getting from her that not getting from you?
um, there was he was. I think it was more him.
Mm.
I don't think it was necessarily what I could give him because I did a lot. I'm not saying I was perfect, but I tried to do all the things. I think that he was looking for somebody to stroke his ego. I think that he was
Mm-hmm.
looking for validation in other women. And I think that, yeah, he would say he wasn't, um, not that he was a sex addict, but that he really liked a lot of sex. I just think that he just had an ego and he was a very nice looking man. He just wanted validation from other women. He was insecure
Mm.
about, turns out his ego and his validation comes from him being insecure. And so he would find that in other women.
Gotcha.
Cause I wasn't
So
like, he was handsome, but I wasn't like, oh my God. Like I wasn't melting over him. Like
And
you're a handsome guy, but like,
and it ain't like you
what
ugly,
else?
B. So you cute. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is,
Get a
stop,
little shy.
stop. But go
so
ahead. No, I'm just
so
kidding.
question be after the first discretion,
Hmm.
how was your absolute love and infatuation for him, or a different level of maturity that was like, okay, let's work through it? Because a lot of people, I think, would say cheating is cheating, I'm done.
Mm.
But I think it takes a different level of commitment to building a relationship to say, okay, you did this, let's talk about it. Are we going to move forward from it? And obviously you guys chose to move forward in your relationship after the first or the second or however many times it happened.
I think there were conversations, but like I would say that a lot of that happened when I was, I don't know, 26, 27. Like it happened early on, we would do a lot of breakup and get back together. And there was always like a gray period of like, it was 8 years of like, are we together? Are we not together? What's cheating? What's not cheating?
Oh.
You know, so it was very this. And then the last, I would say probably when I was like my 30s, we were probably like, no, we're together.
Oh, wow.
But it was still very much like, at that point, I was just like, men are men. They do what they do. He's a good provider. Our sex life was great. All of these things, I was like, you know, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And I was
today, do you still have the same philosophy of men are men, they're going to cheat? Or do you have a different expectation for each relationship you enter?
I have a different expectation. I'm not surprised. Like, it takes a lot to surprise me. Like, if a man does cheat, I'm like, okay, but like, I don't want it. Right. So like, if it happens, I'm out. But at the same time, if it happens, I'm like, oh, okay, you're just, you know, very few men that I feel like don't cheat. Like Barack Obama is probably it.
That we know,
you know, Grant Hill, Barack Obama, that's it. Everybody else.
Not to me, I found a real one.
Right.
That's it.
She created a line dance and she got her a good man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
I like it.
A line dance I can't do.
That part, I can't do that either. I don't know why it's so complicated.
I can't catch the offbeat. I can't catch the offbeat. I'm like, wait, we're kickball changing on a 3, not the 4. Okay.
It doesn't happen. It's not happening.
That's the cheerleader in you. You're like, no, right. I got to be on beat.
I got to count it out. Right.
With your ideals of pretty much that all men cheat, do you see yourself getting married?
No, I don't want to say that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Not all men. Barack Obama and Grant Hill.
No. I feel like I don't feel like all men cheat. I feel like the possibility is high, though. Let me put it that way. I feel like the possibility is high. Huh?
Higher than for women? You think women cheat less than men?
I feel like women cheat better than men.
So we just
so we don't have the stats. We don't have the stats because women are better cheaters.
I would agree with that one. Because
I just.
The way that we detect,
what's your definition of?
I'm gonna say this. Hold on, something. The way that we detectivize, and I said that I made it my new word, detectivize our relationships. You know, we can find out if a man's cheating because we know all the tricks. We know how to be sneaky. We know how to find things that they clearly don't know how to hide. And so I would agree. I feel like women can be a little bit sneakier when it comes to indiscretions. They could hide things. They can play things off. They know what to hide, what to because they know what they're looking for.
I think that men are sloppy, and I feel like that women to the advantage of like, I don't know this. I really couldn't. I don't know. I feel like we probably cheat the same amount, but we're just really good at it. But we don't know.
Would you say that men and women cheat in the same way? Because there's always been a debate that men are physical cheaters and women are emotional cheaters.
I think that's true.
And then does that still quantify the same impact?
Oh no, it hurts more when a woman does it.
Really?
For sure. Because you have probably created an emotional connection with somebody, as opposed to men. Some men cheat, and I should say some men cheat for like just like the physical aspect. My ex was cheating with women, which hurt a lot more because he was cheating with the same women for a long period of time. So he did create emotional connections with women. So that that hurt a little bit. He kind of cheated like a woman, but like, you know, with like a couple different women. Like he wasn't out there just like meeting random chicks. Like now these chicks been around for a minute. But I think that that hurts a little bit more.
Would you want to get married today?
I would. I hope so. I still hope so.
Okay. Still hopeful that even though we kind of accept, I don't know. Do we hope still that men, as they age, they cheat less? Is that still a thing? Because I was mentioning to someone the other day, in my early 20s, I was like, okay, guys are going to be guys because they're young. They're emotionally not there yet. But by the time I'm older, by the time I'm looking more towards 35,
they're ready to settle down.
Knocking off, everybody's going to have this moment of maturity and clarity and know who they want and when they want it and all these things. And it wasn't going to be a factor. And now that I'm here at that magical age that I thought things were going to be different,
the niggas is still on the same bullshit.
You're on the
So,
same.
so I'll say two things. One time, because I used to be a flight attendant, there was this, I will not say his name, there was this ex-NBA player on my flight. And I was telling him, I
Wait,
think I
what
was
city was he from? You ain't got to say a name, but what city?
what city was he from? I think he had played in Portland at one point.
Oh.
That's how I recognized him. But so he was sitting there and we was talking and I was telling him I was 35 at the time and he was like trying to gauge like how I should date. And he was like, well, you need to go older. And I was like, why? And he was like, well, those men are fucked out. Like they're done fucking around.
Damn.
And he was like, yeah, you got to get one that's done. And I was just like, but then I was like, so you want me to get with a dude who doesn't want to fuck anymore? Like that sounds great for me. Like, no. Like that's
boring. Super
that's
boring.
where I'm headed. He's like, yeah, you don't want to get the young ones. He's like, because they still fucking everybody. And I was just like, cool, great.
While I agree with that, but I wonder because like Nik B was saying, even the older ones at this age are still fucking on everybody. So it's like, how old is older?
Yeah, this is true.
So are we talking about geriatric? Because
no, he was talking about like he was talking about late 40s, 50s, and I'm like, I know some dudes who still fucking around in that age.
That part.
But I feel like for me, I'm the type of person, I'll fall in love as many times as it takes. I don't care. I'm a Virgo. Don't care. I'll do it.
So you're a romantic.
I will just. I am. Aww. I am. But I also feel like there is. I don't want to put like the idea that every man is going to cheat. That doesn't bother me. I think that there's somebody for me who's not going to cheat on me, and who is going to match me in all ways or most ways.
So with that, I was gonna say, what's your qualities that you're looking for in Mr. Right?
Qualities. Emotional intelligence is super important. They have to like understand their emotions and how to use them and how to all of that. So that's really important because in my last relationship, he was all over the place with his emotions. He didn't know how to like regulate himself, anger, triggers, things like that. Compassionate. Yes, I have to be attracted to him. I would like him to have some type of relationship with God. He has to find me funny. I don't care if he's funny. I need to be funny though. And
that's funny in itself.
And what else? No, for real. Like
so after this particular relationship, because I'm not sure how many relationships you've had between this guy that ended up having a child. But it sounds like that was one of, if not the most devastating relationship for you. What did you do to get to a better place? Did you like kind of what was the process? Did you go to counseling? Did you swear off men for a while? Like kind of how did you get to a point where you were like, I'm okay?
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't swear off men. I jumped right back in. Number one. Oh yeah. Yeah.
What they say, the best way to get over one is to get under another one.
Under another. Yep.
And at the time, I think there was this idea like between my friend group saying that like, oh, these are rebounds. But to me, I wasn't seeing that way. But definitely a rebound is the way to go. That's number one. Because I think that, no, I'm serious. And it's not to say that it's not a benefit for them. And you don't want to really say this is my rebound because then you're not going into it. But you kind of need some dude who's like really on you and on your ass and being like, giving you the self-esteem that you may have lost in the relationship. That was helpful. Therapy was great. That relationship was the reason why I started therapy.
Okay.
And I cried a lot, to be completely honest. That's how I get through a lot of things. But dick and therapy.
You know what? I don't know if that's the magical ingredient, but sign me up.
I'm like, hold on. I think I'm doing something wrong. So let me figure this out.
I don't know, Leigh LaRie, but I think I need to sign up for those two things. I would say that when it comes to kind of just having someone make you feel special and important, my way of doing that was always to get back on the stupid dating apps. I swear they stress me out. I can never really take anyone serious on them. But if you, especially women, if you are looking for that quick self-esteem boost, someone to like your picture and, thirst trap, be in your inboxes, that's what social media.
Kevy Kev, that was on our season 1 episode for Prison Bays. He actually told me to do the same thing. And I was like, why? I just can't.
It is the self-esteem
I cannot bring myself to get on a dating app. I don't know why.
Let me say this. I think I'm a week in on my first dating
Oh,
app,
shoot.
and I'm a little bored. I'm a little bored. Number one,
Mhm.
it's very underwhelming. But number two, I don't know for Leigh if I could do it in Portland.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I feel like
I agree with you, LaShay.
I feel like being in DC where you are, me being in Jersey, I feel like that's very different than
Different
being in
pool.
Portland.
So I should
whole
use
Yeah,
y'all
it's a
zip
different
codes.
pool. I don't know these people.
You can use my zip code. Absolutely. I'll give that to you. But okay, great example. Right before I had moved out of Oregon, I was on a dating site and I was incredibly disappointed. I was like, I put in the range of age I was looking for, the demographics, the must-haves, all these things, and I was getting the exact opposites. And it's simply because my checklist wasn't available in Portland, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And so where I might see maybe one or two guys that check those boxes, they were absolutely not what I was actually looking for, maybe physically or something. Like they'd say they'd have all these qualities, but they'd be 5'6". I am a very tall 5'8 1/4. And if I'm asking for 6 foot and up, don't come at me with 5'6". What are we doing?
You
Right.
might need someone to climb that tree, Nicole.
I
just
tried
saying.
it because I tried to keep an open mind, and I was just like, my guy, you hit me mid nip, and I don't want that.
He said, "Mama."
Right. So, but when I moved, you know, it opens up a whole new thing. So if you're looking simply for that good self-esteem boost, you know, someone to just have a conversation with, absolutely use a different zip code. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to go on dates with them, or you can cut them off and whatever when you're done with them, you know. It's 223. Right.
I don't know. I think I've exhausted your zip code just in person.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure, but I mean, it's been a week. I don't know if the dating
it also
app
depends on this. It also depends on the site you're on. So
yeah. So what sites are you guys on?
I'm only on Hinge.
Okay, and that one was decent for me down here. I started on Plenty of Fish. I've done
which we learned was a prison jail.
Yeah, I heard Plenty of Fish was like for serial killers.
It's I don't know. I don't know. I just, you know, I will say
you were on there.
I know, but that's just it. I don't know them to be inmates. I do know that I met two guys on POF that I liked. Obviously it was weird because they said they were looking for the same things, but they weren't, because we never even had a relationship. So there's always that. It's a lot of false advertising as far as what people are really looking for.
Gotcha.
But I think it's a great self-esteem booster. You know, I don't know that I can take it too serious. People get on these websites and they're literally just looking for some neck's tail.
Some neck bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, some neck bone. Okay, that part. Okay.
So, LaShay, I'm just curious. So, like, what were the takeaways that you had from this relationship or this one that you mentioned, or even any other relationship that may have been toxic? What are the takeaways that you have gotten that were positive that you want to implement in, you know, new relationships?
Well, I'm always looking for somebody who feels like my best friend, whether they're my best friend or not. That's always been like, since I was probably in my early 20s, maybe even before that I always knew I wanted somebody to feel like my friend.
Yeah.
And so I'm always good at picking men that I get along with, I can laugh with. So I won't change that part of it. And I always like to go with like complete honesty in a relationship.
Okay.
Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't, depending on the man's ego. But like, I think positive, friendship, honesty. You need to want to be around the person. So I've since have dated some people, and I'm like, it's time for you to go home.
Oh,
like it's time. And then there are some men that I've dated, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm like, I need some space. And then there's men that I've dated, and I'm like, he can stay. He can stay a while. you know. So those are things where I'm like, okay, I need to look for men like that, because I do like my personal space and things like that, but I also want to be aware. I've never lived with a man either, so in any of these relationships I've never lived.
Oh, okay.
And to be 40 and never have lived with a man is a little bit probably scary. And I'm sure that I feel like sometimes people look at me as like, that's a red flag, like she's never lived with a man. I'm just like, Yeah, it would be really weird to just have somebody in my space all the time. But sometimes when I do have men in my space a lot, like they stay and they stay for like, a while, I'll be like, okay, this doesn't bother me. I'm just like,
Okay.
I don't know.
can say I've actually lived with a guy, believe it or not,
Wait,
in my
what?
short dating. Yes.
Wait,
Wait,
hold on,
when?
because you just said that longest was like 4 months.
Yeah, but okay, so let me preface
So
by
what had
saying he
happened
was
was,
not. No, what had happened was he wasn't like I wasn't dating him. He wasn't my guy.
okay.
He was my roommate's. And when I was an undergrad, my roommate had a long-term boyfriend who played football. And over the summertime, he was from Georgia, she was from somewhere out in the country in Virginia. And over the summertime, they had camps, they had football, having to get ready for fall season. So he actually moved in with me in my apartment. She was my roommate, but she went home for the summer. And so he stayed, and it was the best living condition I've ever had. Obviously, it was strictly platonic because
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I know, but I say this to say that living with a guy I prefer over living with a female. It's just there's some natural things that you don't bump heads on. I never had to worry about whose turn was it to take the trash out. That's you.
It was always his turn.
It's always your turn. It never is not your turn. Okay. He was also very considerate, never had to worry about the toilet seat being left up. He was very considerate of my space. We actually shared a car on top of it. He actually dropped me off at work because school's out and I'm working full time at the bank. He had to get to practice. I lived off campus, so he would drop me off at work, go to practice, and pick me up on time.
The way that I am eyeing you right now, I just don't understand.
I'm like,
I feel like you took over your friend's boyfriend for the summer, but that's
absolutely
no sex.
Not. I took over everything that was not.
Just like the ideal. It's like a really good relationship, just minus the sex.
It was still to this day one of my best living situations.
Hold on.
I always said to myself that
with your roommate, how did she feel about y'all's like platonic relationship?
She was good with it. So she was actually one of my very closest friends when I was an undergrad. Shout out to Kia. But yeah, she we had no problem with it. She came and visited. She called him all the time. They talked all the time. Like when I say there was literally nothing there, at least not on my end. Now I can't speak for him. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he never was like, oh, girl, you look nice, or I don't know, but it wasn't that for me. I was just on time to work, and the trash was always taken out. So,
I cannot.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that was
shout out to North.
I feel like that doesn't count because I don't feel like that's realistic.
It's not realistic to have a platonic friend.
No. I don't think it's realistic as far as how amazing he was. And the cat. Smokey. Was that Smokey? Of course it was.
Just always showing out.
This is why you're single. Oh my goodness. I love
the cat isn't stopping me.
Okay. LaShay, back to you.
Yes, back to me.
She said it's all about me.
Let's see. How important is sex for you in a relationship? Since we're sitting here talking about my platonic roommate over the summer, how important is sex for you in a relationship?
Very important. Okay, let me. It's important in a different type of way because I've been in a couple different situations. The sexual chemistry is important. To be wanted by somebody is important, and all of that. The amount of sex is a whole different. So when I say sex is important, it's important that I have good quality sex. The amount of times that I have it is not like, it doesn't need to be like, it's not a quantity thing. Like,
but
I don't need to have, like, for me, because I've been in relationships where like men have had to need to have sex like 3 times a day, like all the time. That's fucking exhausting, and I don't need that.
But
yeah, it's not.
But I've heard so I've listened to other podcasts. Shout out to Deval and Kadeem with the Deadass podcast. But they talked about this a lot in their relationship, where it was like she likes quality sex, he likes frequent quality sex, and that became a barrier in their relationship for a lot, because it was like the expectation on a guy is that you're gonna give, like, if we're in a committed relationship and I'm only sleeping with you, I need to get as frequently as I desire, because if not, I'm gonna go somewhere else and get it. So with you saying that it's not important
My
to
ex actually said that to me, and I was like, I am not responsible for every hard on you have. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot to put on somebody. Like, you are your own person. You cannot expect me to, like, take down every hard dick you have. Like, it's just not, I'm not into it. I don't want, like, it becomes more like a chore. I don't like it. If I'm horny and you don't want to have sex, I have other means to handle myself. And you should too. Like, you shouldn't put that on somebody. That's like that basically ruined like my relationship, to be able to tell me that this is how I don't cheat. Like, so you're putting the responsibility of every hard on me so that you don't cheat. You gotta be fucking kidding me. No, that's not right. That's not right on a person at all.
I totally understand. My last ex, he wanted it all the time, and I felt like and I could be wrong, but I felt like at some point it became all he could offer. Like he wasn't meeting financial needs. He wasn't meeting a lot of emotional needs. He wasn't ambitious. I mean, there was just a lot of things that he was lacking, but I was still trying to kind of help him get to a better place, like almost like a project. And I don't like calling people a project, but I know that there was a lot of work that he had to do. And because he wasn't at a point that he was complete, so to say, I think that he felt what he could offer me was sex. And my God, it was exhausting, because it's like, I don't need to go 3 times a day for over an hour each time. I don't. I don't.
So question. So both of
I'm
you
worn
guys,
out.
So I guess between the three of us, we're educated, we're career driven. We have all these things that are going for us, and like Nik B and I have talked about this a lot, where it's like, having been single for a while or having been independent or any of those things, is it hard to find a person who can offer you anything other than sex? Because what do they bring to the table that you can't already put there yourself?
Absolutely. Security. I mean, just
companionship.
Because we can do it ourselves doesn't mean we want to.
Right.
I'm tired of being the man and the woman. I don't want to be the man and the woman anymore.
All those things. We talk about women aren't soft. I mean, this is why.
Right. And so we talked about this. I think I made a post on social media a while back about me being called masculine. And it was because I have a very logistical way of thinking. I am not emotional with people unless I feel safe with you to be emotional. Thus, it's like I don't present a feminine, emotional feeling type self all the time. I just don't feel safe with certain people. And so with that being said, it's like, what do you require to feel in that feminine space to where you can allow a man to come in, take the lead, take charge, do the things that you can do yourself but don't want to?
Oh my God. Consistency is like number one. Men who like keep their word and are consistent, and you have to like, I'm the type of person I do like trust right away. Like, you have to almost like, I'm going to trust you off your word, and then you have to like do something for me to be like, okay, let me not do that anymore. But I think consistency is key. Like, if you show up for somebody, for me, acts of kindness is acts of service is really important. Yes. Okay. And so like you have to like show up for me, right? And like you have to do the things that I want to do for myself. You have to be like, no, I'm going to do it today. And then you have to actually do it. You can't just say you're going to do it, because that's the part, the follow through part, where it's like, oh, he really did it. Well, okay. Like
2 points for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It can't be all talk and no action. I mean, talk.
It definitely has to be action for it.
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be action forward. It's not even about how much someone makes, but what they do, with whatever it is they have. Right. So if we're going, if you make less than me, but you're still contributing in a way that relieves some of my financial burdens, that doesn't mean you go broke behind doing it, but it's just a way of showing that you're in it with me. You're able to help me. You're able to take me where I'm not.
Right. I like that, because I think in a previous episode in season 1, Nik B, you had mentioned, the financial stability part, and I think it was brought up something that you have a certain standard that you require because you yourself are at a certain level. And I think in a way you caught a lot of flack for that from certain people, because it was like they took that as, oh, I need a 6-figure nigga. You know what I'm saying? But you're saying that I don't necessarily need you to be making 6 figures, but I need you to be doing something positive, productive, and forward moving with the income that you do have, right?
Right. Being ambitious.
Right.
And that it obviously looks different to different people.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that you make six figures, but that means that you're responsible with your money.
Right.
That means that I know that together our rent is getting paid. It's never a question because you have a gambling problem, or it's never a question because you're spending all your money on unnecessary gaming devices or whatever it is that's, you know, it's prioritizing, and it's prioritizing me in addition to what's fiscally responsible.
And so we talked about, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, it's not about how much you make. I can't take care of you. Like, that's like I'm not taking care of you. Like, have you been taking care of yourself this far? Great. Do not come to me with asking me for not one thing, but like be able to take care of yourself. If you can also help take care of me, that's great. But like, you have to be able to carry your own weight. Like, I'm not carrying nobody's weight. But we're too old for that.
I got it.
At this age, at any age, really, for me.
No, seriously. Like, I feel like we at a younger age, we're able to make mistakes and do things that we probably wouldn't do at this age. But really, in reality, we should be telling our younger friends, our younger people, our younger listeners that it should be an equal collaboration of partnership, and not like a one person carries more weight because the other person hasn't quite made it there yet. Because that just leads to a lot of resentment later down the line. I know that firsthand. But so in this episode, being I can do bad all by myself, what are some things that were in the relationships, and Nik B, add to this too, that you were in the relationship that you're like, I could be doing this by myself? What is it, like the red flags or the yellow flags or the pink flags or whatever that we talk about, that were in the relationship that you're like, I don't need this particular thing because I could be doing that shit by myself, or I could be handling this, or I could be having this stress without you here? What kinds of things were those things that you noticed in those relationships?
The type of things, that's a good question. I don't necessarily know, because I'm always like, I mean, obviously, I don't know. The first thing that I think of is like bad sex. I could not do that. Like, usually that's like the first thing. Like, if you really, like, if you cool, but like if the sex is bad, I'm like, I could not do this. Like, to be completely honest with you, I'm just like, yeah, I could handle this myself. So I've dated since then. I've dated some men where I'm just like, he's not keeping up with me sexually wise, and like, I'm just like, no.
I think my first yellow, pink, red flag, whatever we want to, warning, my first warning usually for a situation that's probably not going to work is the lack of enthusiasm to plan. To make that effort of when am I going to see you? I feel like I meet a lot of guys that are, I don't know if they're waiting on me to plan a date or to plan an outing. And then it just doesn't happen unless I plan, and recognizing that I'm a planner, I'm an over planner. I think it's the Virgo in us, but because I am such a planner, I'm thinking, okay, if we have established, for the past 2 weeks, we want to get together, and you have yet to say, hey, how about we go here? Okay, fine, I'll suggest something. But if I'm seeing a pattern of you never taking initiative, that's always kind of an issue for me. So that bothers me.
Yeah. I can understand how that would bother. I probably wouldn't have gotten that far with somebody like that. Like, if once we're like, that's a early flag for me, because we ain't going on no dates. You ain't planning nothing. So
I am talking about early. I'm saying, like, I've been messaging you and calling you and FaceTiming you for at least a good 2 weeks of us knowing each other. We've known each other, and you've yet to be like, hey, trying to catch a movie, you want to grab a bite to eat, what do you think about this wine fest, something. And then to never do it, there's been situations where I've then planned it, and I've made note. It's like, okay, I've planned the last 3 times we got together. I need you to show me that you actually want to spend this time with me, because you're not actually planning. You're just going along with things. You're going with the flow. I don't need to go with the flower. I need someone who's a little bit more aggressive than that.
That part,
you need somebody who's putting some thought into it, for sure.
I think it's like a sign of someone paying attention to what you say, because if someone hears you and says you like wine festivals, you like doing certain things. So if you say that in the conversation, then you planning something along the lines of what I've said I liked, means not only are you taking initiative, but you're also listening and you care about what I like. And there's like a lot of, so for a person to not plan something, it's like you're hitting lots of different levels of red flags for me that says you're not a good person for me because you don't listen, you don't care, you don't like what I like, you don't care about. It's a lot. It's weird. Mm-hmm. And I've also had guys who plan stuff and don't follow through with the plan, which even more so irritates my soul, which like LaShay, you mentioned the follow through, which is so huge to me because I'm I don't know I'm a big thinker. I think I have grandiose ideas, but I also follow through with my ideas, or I have plans to follow through with my ideas. And I think in talking with a lot of guys, I curate that same thought process, like we could be doing this. Oh, let's do this. And a lot of guys will tell me these wonderful magical plans and then they don't follow through with them. And then I get screwed because then it's like we're with the go with the flow. Oh, we'll just play it by ear, or we'll just, I didn't really plan this thing.
Nah, we can't play it by ear when you need a reservation, bruh.
That part. Because, we can't get to New York by just chilling.
Can't just show up. There ain't no seating. Can't do that.
Can't just show up at the window of Broadway and be like, hey, I want to come see this play today right now. That's happening in 5 minutes. Or don't tell me, I was going to take you to breakfast, but I had something to come up. It's like, don't tell me what you were going to do if you didn't do it. Like that irritates me.
If we're not going to do it.
Right. Why? I don't care about the thought. Like, I mean, okay. I care about the thought that goes into something that you follow through with. But if you have a thought and then don't follow through with it, don't tell me the thought. I don't care because you didn't do anything with it. And that doesn't make me happy or juicy at all. I'm like,
LaShay.
Agreed.
LaShay, what is the pettiest thing you've ever done in a relationship, especially after someone's maybe pissed you off?
The pettiest thing?
Or do you do petty?
Everybody, don't look. She thought too
I don't
hard
think
about
I do petty. No, wait, no. You know why I don't really do petty? Because I'm this type of person where I don't want them to know that they like got to me like in a certain way. So like my petty is usually silence or like I unfollow you, but like I just never talk to you
she
again.
Says so
but that's
petty.
like very rare. I don't have I'm not a petty person because I'm so emotional. Like my feelings be so hurt. I just can't even be like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever really been too petty. No, I just be in my feelings. And I be quiet about it.
I'm so
What
petty.
about you, Leigh? Yeah, Leigh LaRie. Give me at least 2 examples.
Okay, so I'll do subtle petty things I have done is things. So I have my read receipts off because I am super busy. And I don't want people to know that I've read their message because it's not to be hurtful. Like I just don't see them or don't have time to respond to it right away or whatever, right? But a subtle petty is I'll turn my read receipts on. I want you to see that I saw your message and that I did not respond intentionally. So there's a few people that I have my read receipts on for that I'm like, yep, saw your message. Fuck you.
I recently turned on all my read receipts. I recently just did that. So maybe that's my pettiness.
It is
but
petty.
I always reply. Though.
No, there's other things.
So it doesn't really count.
I think a really big petty one. I think I shared this at a launch party, but there was a young lady who my ex had been talking to right before him and I started talking, and so they kind of dissipated their communication. She went to a different school or whatever, and he just kind of wasn't talking to her. But I found out they were still communicating, and so back when we still had Black Planet, I created a fake page with her name and put her phone number on it and was like, please call me. And so she got online and was like, don't call this number. And I was like, yes, call me. Call me. It's really me. It was hilarious to me because it was like, yeah, don't talk to my husband or my partner at this time. Which looking back was really shady because I'm like, it's his responsibility to not have been communicating with somebody. But, if I could cut it off in a way, she changed the number. He never got the new number. So it was, it worked in that way. That was pretty petty. Nik B, what about you?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like you, LaShay. I'm more of a, if I don't want to deal with you anymore, I just kind of completely cut off communication. I don't think I really have too many like revenge or petty situations. I know like this one guy reached out to me and he was like, hey, I really want to see you. I want to reconnect. I was like, for what?
That's not petty. That's just being real.
That's being honest, right?
I was like, I don't see the need, but okay. No, we didn't reconnect. We didn't see each other. No, I'll definitely post things on my social media where a guy is not captioned in it, but it will be like okay, for example, I was at a cigar bar with this one guy and I wanted people to know, but I didn't want people to know who I was with, of course. So I just posted his whiskey glass and my martini glass and 2 cigars, clearly on a date, not with you, homie, stuff like that.
That was like, this could be you type of moment.
This could be your vibe, but you're over there acting silly.
I don't like, I have like grand petty ideas, but I just can't follow through.
So are you the kind of person that shares your petty ideas with other people so you can watch them enact them? Because I feel like Nik B has given me ideas. And it's like, you should do this.
Have I? Wait, what is it? Please, what was the idea I gave you?
Definitely was like, post a picture of trips and say that this is how it should be done. Post a picture of 2 glasses. The 2 glasses was definitely your thing.
I caught that. I was like,
see, I can't do that because
what she did there.
Because while there's somebody I may want to be paid to, there's somebody who I don't even want to know. Like, there's like too many variables out there. Like, I don't want to hurt a certain group's feeling. And,
that makes sense.
I ain't got nothing. There's no. I don't have no work like that.
Things can always be explained away if you leave something to someone's imagination.
That's true.
You can heavily imply, but if their imagination takes them one direction, you can. No, it's not what you think.
No, I just bought 2 glasses.
My girlfriend likes manly drinks.
They just never picked up the other drink. I was drinking my second drink.
Right, that belonged to the table before me. Before I sat down, that was a dirty glass.
You know what?
Read this.
I'm dead.
So since you've been single and you've gone through this healing process of finding new dick and therapy and all those things, what is your craziest dick and therapy? That's going to be a new. I think that should be a slogan. The D&T.
Can we get t-shirts?
Oh,
we need a t-shirt.
Yes.
D&T.
D&T.
What you want that D&T?
Hey, it better be good too, both of them. So LaShay, what is the craziest dating story you've had since being single?
The craziest dating story. I dated somebody who was really like younger than me, like maybe 10 years.
Even though that NBA player told you to date older, you still went low? Okay.
Well,
so when we go low, we go lower.
That was probably the craziest because it was just such a different age gap. Like, it was, exciting. It's nothing. Was it exciting? It was a little bit exciting. Younger dudes are different. They're really different. And he smokes weed. We just we're complete opposites. I don't smoke weed.
What do you guys do? Walk around doing TikToks? I feel like that's totally the young generation right now.
I just felt like I was such a cougar. It just felt so, and he just was so into it. He was so into older women, and I was just like, this is just not my. No, what did we do? We didn't do a lot of. We went on dates and stuff like that. I don't know. It was very much out of my comfort zone. I think that was probably the weirdest thing. Dating somebody 10 years younger because he was still in his 20s, and I was like, I have a sister your age. You should try dating her.
Oh,
and he was like, nah, I'm into older women.
Why do you always say that, Nik? We were just talking about that. That's
I don't know.
The
it's
line.
Not even a turn on to me.
It's not because damn, now you're calling me old.
I don't want to go younger anymore. I'm over that anymore now.
So what was
somebody in my age group is fine.
What was something that you guys did though while you were talking, dating, or whatever with this younger person? What was something that you did that was completely out of your comfort zone, like that you went full throttle in?
Oh, I got mine. What's yours, LaShay?
What did we do that was? Honestly, we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything that was completely out of my comfort zone. I will say that he was very much he was very much adjustable. Like, he kind of just adjusted to who I was, which was weird. So it wasn't nothing crazy. Nothing crazy
It
happened.
wasn't like
It
a
was just
Stella moment where you like were like out on the beach doing wild and crazy things and living your best
no,
life.
no, 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 no. I mean, there was no. There was a couple of positions I was like, hey, I didn't know they were doing this. Honestly, but other than
That's
that,
why it's important to watch porn. You got to keep
No,
what's trending.
I was
porn
just
ruins
like,
sex,
how
but
does
I
this-
am
You
curious.
got to keep up with what's trending.
I'm curious about what
Yeah,
positions
like-
those were. She's
it
like,
would
wait a
be
minute.
so hard for me to even explain it to you. It was, and I never did it again. And I was like, I didn't even know that could work.
Was it like a wheelbarrow?
I can't even. I don't even want to explain
Was
it
it
to
like
you.
a piece?
It was,
We're curious. I feel like you're like a closeted freak because she's so conservative in her conversation right now, and she's like, wait a
oh
minute.
my god, I'm not. I mean, I'm not a closet. I'm not. Am I a closeted freak? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm willing to try a lot of things, but like not anal.
Oh god damn it! Yeah, that's a hard stop.
That's where my line is drawn. So I mean, I guess I don't know.
That's when the doodle line was drawn. Beep, boop, boop.
Oh Lord.
No, it was like a position. Okay, how do I explain this position? He was laying down.
What?
I was laying down on top of him.
Okay.
But like I was my back was to him.
Like reverse cowgirl, but laying down.
Yes.
Okay, so he was on his back and you were on his back on him.
No, she was.
I was on my back.
You both
You
were
was on his back.
Yes. Okay.
Oh.
Don't know how it.
So like reverse cowgirl, but then she reclined back all the way. Gotcha.
She reclined on him.
She reclined.
Yeah, it was. I don't know how I got into position. I don't know how it worked because
Well, you
ideally
probably
I was
started
just
in
like,
an upright seated position.
I don't think I did, Nicole. I don't think I did.
Maybe y'all were doing the lazy sideways sex, and then he rolled you over onto
and then
his
rolled
back.
over.
Because sideways sex.
But it really worked, and it was like one of his favorite positions, and I was just like, "What is this?" It was quite interesting.
I'm gonna have to look up a Kama Sutra and see if it has a name for that.
Right? I'm gonna have to try that.
The young kids.
How do you?
I don't know. It was cool. It was different. Yeah, it was exactly. You're like, what is happening?
But I like it. Nik B, you said you had a crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, as far as dating younger, I think what the craziest thing for me was just not only was he younger, but we were complete night and day as far as personalities were concerned.
How much younger?
Very much so a straight. We've talked about this. He
I
was
just
like
wanted to
15
read.
years. Okay, you just wanted to hear it again. He was
hear it
about
again.
15 years younger, and he was
Wow.
very much so a straight. First of all, I hear the judgment in that. Wow.
That means you could be like have birthed him, you know?
I mean,
little teenage mom. Okay.
Okay. The point is he was about a whole different lifestyle than me. So he wanted to like drive me around the hood. And I'm not a drive around the hood kind of girl, right? And so I was just like, so this is where you live? Okay. And for him it was normal, and he's like, yeah, I'll show you to my friends and did it. And I was just like, oh, clutch my pearls everywhere I went. I felt old. I felt refined. I felt a lot of things. And this
you felt above the situation.
Way above the situation.
I've been in situations like that where I'm like, oh, this is.
I'm trying so hard not to let my facial expressions be 100% what they are, because I'll say it with my face like, ow, this is your couch.
Oh,
huh.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anytime a nigga takes me somewhere and he says, oh, you good with me? No, take me home. I don't want to be good because I'm with you. No, this is not so safe. Like, no, you good. You with me. No. Take me home right now. Take me home right now. I want to be good in my house.
The house was messy. I was like, so you don't clean up ever? Like
the good old trap houses.
It was absolutely a trap house. I was just,
yeah.
I judged myself in that moment. I was saying, Nicole, you could do better than this.
See,
what are we doing?
I've been to the trap house, and I felt that.
I've been there
way.
with you, though.
Yeah,
I've been to.
You've been to the trap house with me. Yeah,
in your 30s, lady.
For different reasons.
In your 30s,
ma'am.
I'm judging y'all. It's time for y'all to get out of the trap house.
Not for me. Okay, well, that 15-year-old, I was in my 30s. I was like 36. But that was a little different. He was really happy because he just got a car. So he wanted to drive me around. I was trying to let him feel good about his first vehicle.
That
That's what it was
sounds.
about dating the younger guys. That he was still trying to like find his way, find his career, and I was
Mm.
just like, I don't know if I can go on this journey with
And the
you.
things that he
'Cause-
was doing
Mm-hmm.
to try to impress you were like, you're like, oh, I did that when I was in my 20s. Congratulations.
Right. You're
yeah.
doing this at the right age
hmm
that you should be doing.
Yeah,
Good
Right. With
job.
but
some, you
not
need to
for
be doing it
me.
with somebody younger.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Who's impressed? Because I'm not.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. For sure.
LaShay, what advice would you give to somebody coming out of a toxic or bad relationship, aside from the DNT? But what
hmm
advice would you give to somebody about how to heal and how to enjoy being single?
Um.
DNT aside.
Yes. I would say, give yourself some grace. Have a good group of friends.
Mm.
Um. I cried a lot. I cried in between dates. I cried after bad dates because I was like, oh, maybe I should just go back. Like this is not looking
Oh.
good. But I think that the healing part of it, journaling, finding a good therapist. I recently found a male therapist, a black male therapist.
Oh.
Highly recommend.
Really?
It
Really?
is like, yes, let me tell you why. At first I wanted a female. I was like, find me. I was talking to the lady and I was like, I need like a Claire Huxtable in my life. Like,
Oh.
don't find me no young black woman. I don't want nobody going through the same thing I'm going through. And she was like, well, we don't discriminate. She's like, but we have like a male therapist. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I
Uh-huh.
think it is the most validating thing to get to know that you're like doing the right thing, that you
Mm.
are getting another perspective from a platonic person who still has your best interest at heart. Like it is,
Gotcha.
I highly recommend it. Like, cause you're getting a different, you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, is this okay? And from a black male perspective, and they're saying, no, what you're saying is right or da da da. You know what I'm saying? In a
Right.
different way that
Right.
it's like not your father, it's not your uncle, it's just somebody who wants
Yeah.
the best for you
You're
and
right.
like they have no other interest in it. It was one of the best things that I did. So I
Mm.
highly recommend that. But finding a black male therapist is very difficult. Number one,
That
that's very
part.
difficult.
That part.
Yeah.
Especially in Portland, I
Finding a
tell
black
you.
therapist, finding a black therapist in general is hard. But time, grace, don't be hard on yourself.
Uh-huh.
Cry as much as you need to. If you're into working out, um, things like that. I mean, you just kind
Yeah.
of gotta, you know, you kind of gotta like love yourself back to like who you were before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what I did. And it was definitely with the help of my friends. I will say that. Like my friends are like my biggest supporters,
I
and
love it. I
you
love
know,
it.
hmm
Leigh
I
LaRie, what's
love
been
it.
your healing process?
Definitely focusing on my glow up, I think, was really finding the confidence that I was lacking in my relationship has been really helpful for me. I did not feel attractive. I did not feel valued or appreciated. So like finding those things in myself right now is what's helping me. Learning to not care what that other person is still doing has been the hardest thing for me to do right now because it still impacts me. We have kids, so whatever they're doing impacts me to a certain extent. So trying to find the space and the mentality of not caring, and just doing me and worrying about me. So that has helped. I'm with LaShay on the crying. Do a lot of that, a whole lot of that crying. That's been great. I have not found, of course, we're in Portland, so finding a therapist is very difficult. And especially after COVID, because everybody decided that therapy was their thing. So finding a therapist is hard. Finding a black therapist is hard. Finding a therapist who does not know my entire family, group of friends, and work relationships, even harder. So I need to get on those little online sites and figure it out. I do have a life coach now, which is great. But yeah, I think definitely learning to love myself before I'm depending on somebody else to love me has been uh my biggest flex, I think. Nik B, do you have any
yes, becoming.
What?
Oh no, I was gonna say yes, loving yourself, becoming your biggest cheerleader, all of
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, all of that. Nik B, what you got? What you got?
Yes.
I know you how do you heal from your 4 month relationships?
Oh my God, the 4 month
Oh,
relationships.
the tea, the shade.
I'm just
Right? It is
kidding. I love her.
so much shade. Jesus.
I'm kidding, but no,
Um,
seriously.
my biggest method of coping and dealing is a lot of reading. Actually,
Mm.
find a lot of comfort in like reading self-help books, or just even listening to different podcasts surrounding mental health and things like that. But also having conversations with myself and knowing that what is meant for me is me. It will be. That sort of thing. And if I don't have what I think I want right now, I kind of try to reevaluate, why do I want it? Do I want things simply because I was conditioned to think that at this age this is where I should be?
That's a good thought.
And because what I thought it should have been when I was growing up looks different than my reality today. Is that good, bad, and different? And just sort of having that internal dialogue with myself. And like LaShay was saying, being kind to yourself and being, being lenient, being careful with your own feelings, that in the self-talk that you have with yourself is really, that's really been my only method of.
I love it. I love the self-reflection because that's so important. And I love that you are able to take that, because I think a lot of people don't do that. And they think everything is wrong with everybody else and it's not me, or I need to figure out, why they're not giving me what I want, rather than figuring out why do I actually want that. I'm gonna start taking. I'm gonna take that piece from you, Nik B. I love it. I love it.
That, and I also across the fact that the only common denominator between everyone I'm with is me, right? So
that's a good point.
Working on, and that's not even to say that what you take from any past relationship is necessarily bad, but they're all teaching moments. They're all tools.
That part.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're just preparing you for the next best thing in my life, in your life.
That's what I've always said. I'm sorry to cut you off. Like, one of the things I've always said is, like, every time I lose somebody, God has brought me somebody better. And we just want to keep going till I get where I'm actually going to be. But I've never
exactly.
I've never left somebody and thought, oh, it was better where it was. It was always, I've always been moving forward. And so that's always been nice. Like, to always feel like you're getting closer to the goal. You learn from all the mistakes that you made, hopefully. Sometimes you go back and make them a couple more times, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's right.
And there's no timeline. There's no timeline. Stop putting a timeline on yourself, because I think we all do that.
I used to put timelines on.
That was one of the hardest things for me ending my relationship when we did end, was that at my age, I was like, I worked really hard to get to a point where I was at, and now my timeline and my goals that I had set are jacked the fuck up. So taking that timeline away is really powerful, because we're not dead. We're not dying. I mean, well, respectively, but we have life to live. You know what I'm saying? We have life to live. So there's plenty of time for us to get what we had set for ourselves as a goal. So I love what you all said. We're going to take that. I think we should post some of this on our social media. Nik B, LaShay, where can they find you if you want to be found?
Oh, God.
Aside from Hinge. Aside from Hinge.
I would love some likes on Hinge. LaShay Regina at Instagram, but like, it's private, so like, you have to be vetted.
You got to add her. You got to add her. She's got to look at your page. She's got to stalk you for a little bit. Make sure you cool. Don't just jump in the inbox with the BS. But
I mean, I'm probably, there's nothing interesting going on my Instagram anyway.
She's so
very
funny.
much.
You have a lot of good insights. So if anyone want to have a conversation with her, it's amazing. She's amazing. I love it. Nik B,
thank you.
Where can they find you?
Yes. So of course I can be reached on all Dirty Roses podcast platforms, may that be Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or, TikTok, whatever the case may be. But to get me directly, you can also find me at @NikB_Nik B. And that's Nik with a K, and on Instagram. Leigh LaRie, where can we find you?
You can find me everywhere. I am Leigh LaRie, so LeighlaRie on every single social media platform. You can find me at that handle. Like Nik B said, Dirty Roses Podcast on every platform. But you can also go to our website, dirtyrosespodcast.com. You can listen to all of season 1 and so far of all of season 2 that we've done and posted. And you can leave us a review, leave us a voice memo. You can leave us all kinds of stuff. Our little website is kind of cute. I like it that you can leave us all kinds of feedback in various ways. So we want to hear from y'all. We want to get y'all, if y'all want to give us, if y'all want some advice, send us an email. You can send us at dirtyrosesletters@gmail.com. You can get advice, send us crazy dating stories. We can share these on our social media, share them on an episode, all that good stuff. So make sure y'all check us out, and we'll catch y'all around being dirty. All right.